From some of our most beloved Marvel characters to some of the most very obscure characters, we got it all thanks to Marvel Universe Toyland. I'm Nathan Cruz and welcome once again to Inside the Toy Room. So as I mentioned at the top of this episode, today we're going to be taking a look at Marvel Universe figures. Now before we get into that, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you're notified every single time we upload a new video to this channel, and leave us a comment below and let us know what you thought of this episode. Now these figures ran between 1996 and 1998. They're 10-inch figures and they brought us 40 of our favourite Marvel Universe characters, 8 of which were Spider-Man. I'm obviously going to be getting into that into this episode. But they also brought us some of the more obscure Marvel characters such as Moon Knight and Union Jack, which are not exactly fan favourites when it comes to the Marvel Universe. But Marvel still decided to create those figures for the few people that may have known them from the comic books. As I mentioned, 8 of these figures were Spider-Man. Now Spider-Man has got a vast array of different outfits and things like that. As the series went on, the very last figure that they actually produced was in 1998 and was this Spider-Man right here. Now the thing is with this, it doesn't say anywhere on the box if it's Spider-Man. It's just 10-inch tall, fully posable, accessories included. It isn't until you get to the back that you read here and you find out that this outfit, it's got a blurb. It says here, being hunted and disliked for simply being yourself is nothing for X-Men co-leader Cyclops or for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But for Iron Man, it's a whole new experience and not one he enjoys. So when Sentinels impose martial law on the New York City populace and expand their hunt from only mutants to all beings with the ability to stop them, Iron Man rounds up Spidey and Cyclops and sets about evening up the odds by building them each special armor. Cyclops' cyber armor helps shield him from mutant hunting probes and augments his optic blast. Spider-Man's web armor adds high-tech shielding from Sentinel blasts without adding a lot of weight, which allows him to twist and leap his way to safety. So basically you have to read this blurb to find out that this action figure is actually called Web Armor Spider-Man. Right, that aside, this figure's cool as hell. I love it. Matt Myers got me this for this Christmas. I was extremely excited just because these translucent blue legs. It's just something that's just, again, so 90s. The artwork on this is insane. It's so cool. It's so interesting. It's got a lot going on. But yeah, my only downside to the box art altogether would be that it doesn't actually say the title of what the figure is. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, you obviously know that that's Spider-Man, but you know, to find out why he's dressed like this, you've got this blurb on the back to try and explain that. As I mentioned, these figures, there's so many different varieties of these. Like I say, there's 8 different Spider-Man, and there's also a very rare silver Venom that you can get in this series, which, you know, Venom's never really been silver as far as I'm aware anyways, but it is something that I thought looked really cool when I saw the picture of this. These 10-inch figures are some of my favorites that Toy Biz did. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, I've got X-Men ones, I've got Spider-Man ones, and now Myers has started something that I really wish he didn't, because I've been looking at these now and I'm like, I would like to complete this collection because there's so many cool different varieties. Like I said, they've got some of the more amazing characters that we you know, we're fond of, such as Wolverine in certain different outfits and things like that. There were some of them that I just like. I'm not a fan of Moon Knight. Just what name is Moon Knight? Oh yes, Moon Knight. What's a superhero? Look who's coming to save us. It's Moon Knight. I'd be disappointed. Where's Spider-Man? Where's the X-Men? Moon Knight? You jog on, mate. I would not be bothered about Moon Knight coming to save me. I'd rather fall wholly to Mr. Sinister or Apocalypse or anybody instead of Moon Knight coming to save the day. I'd be very bitterly disappointed. But Moon Knight is a character within the Marvel Universe. Union Jack is also, and you can basically guess, yeah, he's the British superhero. And even as someone who is British, I'm like, lame. He just looks, they've just painted a guy in a big Union Jack and being like, hey, well, that'll please the British market. And he doesn't really. I've never really read into him, so maybe he's got some really cool things about him. Maybe you know more about Union Jack, and if you do, let us know in the comment section below. But I, for one, don't really care about him, and I'm British, so yeah, I care about these guys. But yeah, this is a really cool figure, and I was really happy to add this to my collection. But also, like I mentioned, it's a bit bittersweet because I've now got this little itch to add more of them to the collection. But the big issue is now I'm running out of space vastly inside the toy room. And I've mentioned on this series that I may have to stop purchasing toys for a while to clear some space, or I'm gonna have to put some stuff in storage. I'm really not wanting to put stuff in storage. Maybe there's a few boxes I could put in storage. Yeah, it's gutting to me at the moment to see certain things just cluttered up down here that should be on display, but I really just don't have the space. What I really could do with is a bigger house, but I'd probably have to sell everything in this toy room to fund that. The Marvel Universe series clearly didn't do that well. They, like I say, they ran from 1996 when the bulk of their figures came out. There was a few that came out in 1997, and then, as I mentioned, they finished up in 1998 with this guy, and after that they just kind of disappeared. I think I wasn't really doing that well. As I mentioned, when it's characters such as Moon Knight and Union Jack, when it comes to certain more obscure characters, if they're not featured on a cartoon regular, chances are kids aren't going to buy it, because most kids, especially here in the UK anyway, weren't reading the comic books that religiously. That became, I mean, for me, it became a thing in my teen years. It wasn't something that I did when I was a young kid. That was just pure cartoons. So when you see the artwork for the cartoons such as Spider-Man and X-Men on the boxes, those are usually the figures that you end up going to part ways with your money. So Marvel Universe just kind of disappeared. But it's a shame actually, because now I look back at my older years and I can appreciate them. I kind of think they've got a really cool toy line. As you mentioned, there's 40 figures in this, so there's a lot to collect. There's a lot to add to the collection. You're going to tick off so many cool, you know, like think characters like Beast that we're so familiar with. It's probably the exact same figure that you'd get in the X-Men range, but you're just getting that cool different box artwork. But you know, for a collector like me, that's where it becomes dangerous, because it's like I get the X-Men Beast and I've got the Marvel Universe Beast. I currently don't have either, so probably need to fix one of them sometime soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Inside the Toy Room. If you yourself own any of these Marvel Universe figures, please let us know in the comment section below what you like about them, what you dislike about them, which one's your favourite, which ones you have, which ones you want, etc, etc, etc. And be sure to make sure you check out our next episode if you're interested in Power Rangers, because I'm going to be taking a look at my top 10 Megazords.